Hi, welcome to Nuclear Reactors with Dr. Devlin and me. Yeah, we're going to talk about nuclear reactors, what they are, what they do, and how they relate to chemistry. Their pros, their cons, and everything in between. Also, what they did in the past, the future, and right now. Stay tuned for more. Yeah. Chemistry. Yeah.
A nuclear chain fission reaction takes place within a nuclear reactor, thus producing energy, which is then used to produce electricity.
Within a nuclear reactor, rods of uranium are put into a reaction vessel where the uranium decays. The decaying of that uranium releases heat, which heats water and turns it into steam. That steam then goes through a turbine, spins that turbine, which is connected to a generator, which generates electricity, which is then put through wires into the power grid and can be used as normal household electricity. That steam is then cooled in a condenser and then is either reused and remade into steam and respins the turbine, or is pumped into a reservoir of radioactive waste, which is the most problematic part of nuclear power because at this point, once something becomes radioactive waste, we have nothing to do with it.
Now let's take a look at what happens on the molecular level. One neutron collides with a uranium-235 atom, which creates a uranium-236 atom. This 236 atom breaks down into krypton, barium, 3 neutrons, but most importantly, energy. That energy that was just created is what heats the water in the nuclear reactor.
Let's look at some of the pros of nuclear reactors. In comparison to other conventional energy production sources, nuclear reactors produce an immense amount of energy. There is an estimated 10 million times more energy produced in a nuclear fission reaction than the burning of one fossil fuel atom. In the long run, the cost of nuclear energy is far less than that of other conventional energy production sources, as nuclear energy requires less material in order to create sustainable power production. Because nuclear reactors do not produce harmful greenhouse gases as a byproduct of energy production, they are considered to produce far less pollution than other energy production sources.
The environment. Yeah.
Let's look at some of the cons of nuclear reactors. The very big cons to nuclear reactions is the fact that accidents can happen and have happened before, like in Fukushima Daiichi in 2011 in Japan and Chernobyl back in 1986. In both cases, a major power failure led to a steam explosion, otherwise known as a meltdown, which then released toxic radiation into the atmosphere. Next con to the use of nuclear reactors is the production of hazardous waste. Like we previously mentioned, this process creates large amounts of nuclear byproducts. At this time, we have no solution for the permanent disposal of said waste.
So in the past, the first nuclear reactor was created in 1942 as part of the Manhattan Project, run by renowned physicists Robert Oppenheimer and Albert Einstein. The first power plant became operational in 1954, and the first nuclear-powered submarine in 1955 with the USS Nautilus. 5 years later, in 1960, the USS Enterprise became the first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier put into active use.
There are 447 active nuclear reactors used in the world to generate power. 61 are under construction. There are also 140 nuclear-powered ships in active use.
Boat.
In In nuclear fusion reactions, which is considered the future of nuclear power and reactors, hydrogen atoms are collided with one another with such large amounts of energy that they actually fuse to form helium atoms. And this fusion releases an amount of energy far greater than that released in a fission reaction. However, while we can simulate fusion reactions currently, the amount of energy that it takes to make a fusion reaction occur is far greater than the amount of energy that is produced through that reaction, and thus, at this point in time, fusion is not a viable energy production solution. However, many scientists, physicists predict in the future it will be the primary source of power for humanity.
Other than nuclear fusion, the future for nuclear reactors and their usage is really up for debate in our world today.
Ever heard of it? Thanks for watching.
We hope you learned a lot
A lot.
about nuclear reactors. We think you guys learned so much that you deserve this plaque.
Wow. And always remember, kids, the best way to start your day is to eat a well-balanced breakfast of honey bunches of oats.
Chemistry.